business plan. Hello. Now this also follows the nice out template so that you are able to raise your funds easily. So for today's one, I would skip to the areas that concerns us. You need to have your business information in place. So for those of us that already have a business name, if you are writing, please put it somewhere, your business name. Now for some of us, your business does not have an official name yet, meaning you don't have a business name, it's not limited, you are not even a sole proprietor like a registered name with CAC, then that means that you would have to put in your personal name here. But if you have a registered business name, then your registered business name should be here. Then your business email address. So for example, some of us, maybe the name of your company is Johnson Limited or Johnson, or I'm looking for an example, Dominic Incorporation. So if the name is Dominic Incorporation, when it comes to your email address, do you have a dedicated email address for your business? Something like jide@dominic.com. So if you have that, you put it here. In a case where you don't, I would advise business-wise, have a dedicated email address for your business. So it's not always advisable to use your personal email address for your business. So have a dedicated email address for your business. Then your business, if you have a website, whether it's a website, a blog, somewhere somebody can go to get an idea of what you're doing, comes in here. Your business address, that's the location where you carry out your activities. So for example, it's possible when you were registering your business name during the registration, you used, maybe then you were living in Nasarawa, so you used your house address in Nasarawa. But now your business address is in Abuja. Then the address that should be here is your Abuja address, not the one that you used during your CAC opening. The reason for that is because there might be a need for representatives of NISAL to visit your premises. So if the address you put here is the one you used during registration and you are no longer there, they are going to go to that address, and in their filings to be represented as the business does not exist. I don't know if that makes sense. So you should ensure that the address you are putting here is the physical location where you are carrying out your business activity. I hope that makes sense. I'm seeing some charts. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. I think he's teaching us how to get there. So next is your business phone number. Like I said earlier, again, try to have a dedicated phone number for your business. Now, the reason why this is extremely important in having a dedicated phone number, tomorrow we are going to be looking at your input costs. How much money do you spend on communication? I know for some of us, when it comes to making phone calls, we just assume it's not just a phone call. But the reality is the money you spend on calls, the money you spend on data as it relates to your business must be captured in your financials. Now, the only way we can legitimately audit and say, yes, this person spent 10 naira or 200 naira or 1 million naira on data is if there is a dedicated line or dedicated channel you are using for data. But if your personal phone that you use for your personal phone calls is the same line you are using for business calls, there is no way we can legitimately differentiate your personal calls from your business calls. Now, I know somebody may be wondering and thinking, what about in scenarios where, because now I have my business phone number, however, people already had my personal phone number. Now, people call me through my personal phone number. What do I do in that case? It's simple. You can receive calls with your personal phone number. The good thing is you do not get charged for receiving calls. Now, if you now need to call the person back, call the person back through your business line and make it clear to the person, I am calling back through my business line because this is the official line. The other one you called is my personal line. Every customer would understand that. And once you do that 1, 2, 3, 4 times, before you know what is happening, they will start communicating with you through your business line as it relates to business. I hope that makes sense. Now, next is, so if you're writing, you can put this somewhere so that when you get this template, you can start filling them in. Next is your business bank name. So which bank are you banking with? Remember, when it is time for NISA to pay the money to you, the bank name that is your business bank account is where the money will go to. Again, I know for some of us, we may not have proper bank account yet for our business. Some of us probably still use our personal account for business activities. This is wrong. So even if you do not have a business name yet, all you need to do is simple. Open a dedicated bank account that you are going to be using for strictly business, because that would help us ensure that during audit in the future, it is easy for us to monitor what you are doing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So have a business bank name dedicated to your business, or a business dedicated to your business. I don't know if I'm too fast. Okay. Mr. Bremer, I think somebody has issues on the chat. Please help attend to the person. Then your business bank account, I think that's the same. You get that easily. Then you need to know the sector you belong to. So as now we are talking to SME who are in different businesses, what sector does your business belong to? So I'm going to give like a few seconds. I want us to write our different sectors. Let me see to be sure we are following. Let's get a reply from 2 or 3 people. What sector does your business belong to? So I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting. What sector does your business belong to? I'm waiting to be sure we are following what I'm saying. So somebody said beauty and health. Okay, who else? Madam Patricia, what exactly do and health are 2 different areas? There are 2 different areas. Mr. Jacob said education sector, good. Mr. Jacob is in education sector. Computer services. Who else? Now, the next thing you need to tell us is engineering, okay? What is your business activity? You know, yesterday, for those of us that joined the class, I talked about your key activity. Okay, so Mr. Patricia said health sector, and so you are health sector. Now, the next thing is, what is your business activity? Meaning, what do you do? What is the key thing that you do? What do you do? Okay, IT sector, better, Mr. Arba, IT sector, not computer services, IT sector, better. So now the next thing is, what do you do? What is your activity? What is the key thing that you do? So for example, if, let me use examples from people that have written some stuff. Let me see. Somebody just wrote something now, transportation. So for Mr. Suleimana that says transportation, what is your activity in transportation? We want to know. Because see, this is the idea. We need to know what your activity is to judge of your business, to judge this business is, we want to be sure that the activity you are actually carrying out in 5 years is not in danger of being thrown out of circulation. So for example, let's say transportation. Now, in transportation, there are different areas that you can fall into. You might be the owner of the vehicles and you lease your car to people to take it up and down to drive and they pay you stipend. You are in transportation. In transportation, you could be the driver yourself, moving your vehicles up and down. In transportation, you could be movement of people. It could be movement of goods. It could be a truck for moving things like fuel and all of that. So what is your exact activity in your business? So let me see examples. So Madam Patricia is into trading of health products and nutritious products. Good. Mr. Suleiman wants to be the driver himself. So in your activity, we need to know, where are you driving from where to where? Because now the risk involved in the person driving from Lagos to Abuja is not the same risk with somebody driving within the environs of Abuja. So you need to say the activity in a way that it captures what you do in your business. I don't know if that makes any sense. So Mr. Matthew is into trading of raw rice and soya bean. So now in that trading of I'm trying to explain in a way that you will capture your business properly. Trading of raw rice and soya bean, are you a wholesaler or a retailer? We need to understand. Because when you say trading, we need to know then what kind of trading. Are you selling in bulk or are you selling directly to a consumer? So selling in bulk means your kind of business is B2B, business to business, which means you are selling to another business who is going to sell to the consumer. Or are you B2C? That means business to consumer. So you need to capture these things very well. So please go back again. Let's hear from guys that have written before. Trading of raw rice and soya bean. Are you selling in bulk or you are selling directly to a consumer, to the consumers? So in case I jump your part, it's not deliberate. Installation, maintenance, and procurement of solar products and power backup system. Awesome. So you install, maintain, and procurement. Okay, so that's from Mr. Nathan Frederick. Mr. Jacob said ICT training, application software, then e-learning. Exportation of, Mr. Anthony said exportation of non-oil products and agro produce. You see, that is too cumbersome. It's too cumbersome. We need to know. Now, in somebody that is into things like this, we need a figure and find a way to describe, because once you say non-oil product and agro produce, automatically things like timber are part of it. Cocoa are agro produce, pepper is agro produce. So it's so large. We need to be able to understand it properly. Rearing of table-sized catfish and smoking catfish. So your own would be that as Mr. Ola, I don't know if that's Mr. Ola or Miss Ola. So you are into, what's the word now? The value chain of raising table-sized catfish with value addition, trading health and nutritional product directly to the consumers, okay? Fishery is too large. You need to look at what Madam Patricia wrote. You need to scale it down. Table water distribution. Table water, so is it 50 cl, 100 cl, 1 liter, 2 liter? We need to know what is. Then we have poultry farming and feed selling. So in poultry farming, we need to know. In poultry, some people sell the birds, some are after the eggs. Which part of the poultry farming, what exactly are you doing? Then when you say feed selling, are you saying you produce the feed yourself. But we need to understand that statement. So we jump to the next one. I hope we understand how to write business activity properly. You need to describe it in a way that I have never been to your business, but I understand what you do. I understand what you do, such that if there is a need to recommend you for something, I can say, oh, for this thing you are looking for, meet this person. Next is the stage of your business. So are you a startup, which means you are going to use this money to go and start the business. You've not done it before. Or are you an early startup? So you have done this business for less than 3 years. Now, let me explain this. This is very, very critical. This is very critical. If you have a business name, a company name, whether limited or just a regular business name, and your business name is 1 year old, but you have been in the business for 10 years, as far as we are concerned, based on the documentation available, you are still early business. I don't know if that makes any sense. If your business name, your registration shows that you are just starting, then you are early business. So are you a startup? Startup means you have not, you are just starting, you've not done this before. If you are less than 3 years, you are early startup. So we need to know, what is the stage of your business? What is the stage of your business? We've talked about business activity before. Then your ownership type. So under ownership type, we have 3 formats. Number 1 is you are the sole proprietor, meaning it is only you. So are you a sole proprietor? Put it there. What type are you right now? You're a sole proprietor. Is it only you? Another way to understand that is how many of you need to sign your account. Most business, for most small older businesses, you are the only one that signs. So you are most likely a sole proprietor. So are you a sole proprietor? 1. 2, are you limited? Is it a limited company? So if you are limited, by default, you are at least 2. Because for limited, there is the director, there is the secretary. So if it is limited, then we know that you are at least 2. Or is it a cooperative, what you are, like the business name you are using? Because cooperatives too can decide to come to apply. Then how many years have you been in operation? Do not lie about the years, be honest. Do not lie about how many years you have been in operation. Because remember, whatever it is you are giving to us, we are going to know the truth when we start looking at your bank statement, because your BVN will be used to judge. You can't say you've been in business for 10 years and yet your bank account statement is not able to prove it. Okay, Madam Patricia. Any questions so far? This is just an overview. We'll skip a lot today so that tomorrow all of you would have gotten this document, if possible, printed or something, so that you can write. It will not just be me talking. You can actually write and fill part-time. So next is your business information. We want to understand your business. What is the vision of your business, your vision statement? Now, your vision statement is where you see your business going to. Where do you see your business going to? So for the people that are in transportation, what is the big vision statement? So that's the question. So I'm waiting. Then your mission statement is we want to know what you are doing step by step to get there. What you are doing step by step to get there. So I take that again. Your vision statement is, we want to know what is the future of this business. So for example, let me use an example here. The person that is Miss Ashafa, who is into selling of broiler chickens after rearing. So your vision could be to produce 50,000 worth of broiler chicken every month. That could be the vision statement. Production of 50,000 this every month. Or your vision could be to provide chicken for every household in Abuja, or provide broiler chicken for every major store in Abuja. It's a vision. So your mission statement would not tell us how you intend to achieve that. How you intend to achieve that. How you intend to achieve that. So I don't know if we get that. So for example, Ms. Patricia wrote, to be a good health and nutrition provider to the general public. That sounds nice, but if we are honest, you realize that that sounds vague. Because general public, I mean, just say public, but it still sounds vague. Okay, next, because since you are into sales, we need to know what quantity, how many people are you looking at? Then value proposition. Remember yesterday I said something that anytime you come into business, so for example, let me use the examples that people have brought in here. Madam Ashafa is into broiler chicken. If I go to her by December to buy chicken, the chicken she is giving to me is what I paid for. Now, remember yesterday we said that your value cannot be what your customer is paying you to do. So if I am paying for chicken and you are giving me the chicken, you have not given me any extra value. There is no value. It's what I bargained for that I got. If I pay you for custard, Madam Mary that is into custard production, if I pay you for custard and you give me the custard, you have not given me any extra value because I am only getting the worth of my money. So what is your value proposition? Meaning, what is the thing that would make a customer decide that they want to pick you instead of a competitor that can provide the same service or product? I don't know if that makes sense. Why would a competitor pick you? When I say competitor, not competitor now. Why? That's the question. So what is the value you are going to be adding? What is the exact value that you are going to be adding? Does that make any sense to us? So you need to take your time and look at it critically, especially if you know in your area of business, you are in a place where there are people doing similar thing that you are doing. So that differentiates you over your competitor. Next, you have to properly describe your business. Because remember that at first, what we just talked about was your activity. But here, we need you to describe your business such that when we read it, we don't need to call you to ask, what do you do? Does that make any sense? So in describing your business, you should describe it. Now, don't try to use too many words. You will notice that in the document sent, you just have about 3 lines to describe. So we want you to summarize what you do in at most 3 lines. We need you to describe your business. We don't want you to give us a whole essay on what you do. Summarize it. Focus on what you do. Focus on the main. So let's take, for example, custard production. We are not asking you to tell us the whole process of cost start production. No. Make us understand your key activity. Then, what is the objective of your business? Or what are the objectives of your business? These we will do tomorrow. So we need to know the objectives of your business. Now, also under your business plan, we'll still talk about most of this tomorrow. So we have your management plan. So as a business owner, we want to assume that you have people working with you. There are people working with you in your business. We want to know their names. What is their responsibility? What is their responsibility? Because we need to know the value they are adding to your business. We need to know if there are some people in the business that needs to be removed before you can assess the finance. We also need to know if there are key people that you need to work with to even qualify you for the finance. So in your business, who are the people that you work with under your own company? We are not talking about key partners now. So for example, if you have, I think for the cassava person, so now as for the, I want to take an example. So for the poultry farming, okay, the poultry man did not answer if he makes his own feed. So for the table water production and distribution, for example, I want to assume the containers that you use for packaging your table water you buy from somebody. So we are not telling you now that under management plan, you should write the person that you buy from. No, because the person that you buy from is not under your team. He's a partner that you are buying from. Instead, we want to know who are the people that you have to pay salary directly. So what are their full names? What are their responsibilities? What are the responsibilities assigned? Are they just staff or are they partners? For example, I know Madam Patricia earlier said something about, I think hers is limited, if I'm not wrong. Then Madam Patricia's business is limited. So, yeah, since hers is limited, it means that she has a partner. Now, under the stake, obviously, you that is the owner of the business, your name must be here, definitely, by default. So you write your responsibility. Under the stake, if he's a partner, you write partner. If he's a co-founder, you write co-staff. Then their allowance is their monthly stipend. What is the monthly stipend? How much do you pay them? How much do you pay them? We need to know. Now, it is very possible that in a limited company, the partner or co-founder in the business is not part of running the business. That is understandable. So what I mean, for example, Madam Patricia, for example, it could happen that her partner that they own the business together does not collect allowance from the business. In that case, the is not part of running the business, then the person doesn't need to be listed. But if the person is part of running the business, the person has to be listed. I don't know if this makes sense so far. We'll come to this tomorrow. We'll come here tomorrow. So the next thing on your business is your SWOT analysis. So for example, Mr. Sylvester said he's into product. That is not, we need to know what are the other businesses, Mr. Sylvester. You cannot be into production of peanuts and other businesses, because now, if you are trying to figure out how do I know which business to state when I am writing, the easiest way to determine which business to state is which business are you collecting money for? Which business are you collecting money for? Or are you collecting loan for? I don't know if this makes sense. Yes, if you collect the guide, you can download and print, Madam Mary. You need to ask yourself, what do you want to collect loan for? Now, I know for some of us, you might be saying, okay, in our own case, we want, what is it called now? We have 3 businesses and we want to see if we can spread the loan through them. No, it won't work, because you realize that when we are done with all of these and you are going online to fill, you can only select a sector. So you cannot pick health sector and food sector. So you can only select a sector. Now, if you are not too sure which sector or which of the businesses in different sectors to pick from, ask yourself, which one is most profitable? 1, 2, which one do you have a history financially to daily business or long-term into business? You need to know which of them do you have, what's it called, a financial history to back up. For example, Madam Felicia said, or Patricia rather said, she has been in business for 5 years. So there should be financial record for at least 4 of those years, if not the whole 5 years. So back to where we are. Somebody said she has gone through the document. I've gone through the course page. You've not seen the document. Okay, what can be done is, don't worry. After this session, the document will be sent to everybody. The document will be sent to everybody so that tomorrow we are still going to use this document. So you get 2 documents against tomorrow's class so that we are able to walk through the document. The strengths. So what is your strength as a business? So for, let's take other businesses. For Mr. Sylvester that is into peanut production, what is your competitive strength? What is your edge over other peanut producers around you? We need to know. What is your edge over other peanut producers around you? What is your edge over other peanut producers around you? What is your strength? Is your strength the fact that you have machines that can do more volume per time? Or is your strength because of the geographical location of your company? So for example, it could be that where you are in a place where anybody that is passing sees you first before your company. The fact that you have the most skilled set of laborers or workers working with you. Ms. Unwosu said, I have a small poultry, but the company I just registered is an engineering firm limited. So the question is, what are you collecting loan for, Ma? Are you collecting loan for the poultry or for engineering? What do you need the loan for? Engineering firm cannot collect loan on behalf of poultry. So what do you need the loan for? Okay. So what is your strength, Mr. So if you are collecting loan for poultry, then you are going to probably use your personal name or something, not a company that has nothing to do with that sector. Engineering is a different sector from agriculture. So you cannot use a different sector to collect money from another sector. I hope that makes sense. Then Mr. Mohammed said he's into automobile electrician and car dealer. So what is the strength of your business? The best electrician in that area, or are you the only electrician in that area, or are you the only specialist for a kind of car in that area? What is your strength when it comes to car dealership as a company? Is it that you are the only person that sells car in that area? Or is it that you have a payment plan available that ensures that people are willing to come to you to buy their cars instead. Don't that make sense? Then I would really need to understand your kind of business, because how does the loan help your car dealership and automobile electrician work? If you need to ask questions via audio, you can raise your hand. I'm sure Mr. Ibrahim would grant you access. Next, somebody wrote, to Patricia Anabele, to boost and grow the business. I'm not sure I understand that statement, what you are answering to. Okay. So there is Precious Jewelry Molding Cave Nigeria Limited, a goldsmith company. Okay. So what is the strength of edge? Then the next is, what is your weakness as a company? So your weakness is, what is that thing that your competitors are doing that you are not able to do or you cannot do yet? Which advantage that your competitors have over you? What's the advantage that your competitors have over you? That is what we are referring to when we ask for weakness. What is their advantage over you? Next is, what opportunities do you see right now? So you are a poultry farmer. So for example, maybe Madam Blessing right now, as a poultry farmer, you notice that you are only producing egg, but you know that there is an opportunity to over time also start producing birds. Or there is an opportunity that in the future, you can even be hatching chicks as a small chicken and selling. What opportunities do you see in your business? What opportunities are you seeing? So that, because if there are opportunities available, we can now use that to say, oh, this is what and what needs to be done. Madam Mary said, I've written a business plan already. Can I leave the meeting? Yes, if you feel you don't need it, nobody would ask you to stay, but I would advise, because the format we are using, the format I am using is the NISAL format, not the everyday downloaded business plan format from the internet. Next is the threat. So when we talk about threats to your business, what are the likely things you see around your business operation that could become an issue? Take, for instance, somebody talked about exports of non-petroleum products and agro produce. So it means that the issue you might be having is, one of the threats to your business could be dollar, the price of dollar to naira. So what are the threats that you see? Because the understanding, how much you understand your threats to your business is an indication of how well you understand your business. You don't understand your business well. For example, you say, oh, I am into water sales, because when we come to, that would be tomorrow, when we are looking at your financials, we are meant to do financials for 10 years. So not the regular business plan where you do financials for 4 years. NISA expect that in your financials, we cover the next 10 years. So the question is, how far can you see into the future to understand the possible threats to your business? For example, demand that is into the sales of, that is into transportation. What happens in 6-7 years from now when we start having driverless cars and your vision is to drive your car? Will you still be able to sustain yourself in business when there are driverless cars available? Is there a plan to ensure you remain in business? These are the things we want to figure out. Let me look for another person's business. Okay, I think I saw somebody that is into jewelries. So for example, the man that is into jewelry making, what happens when tomorrow the 3D printers available today are so good that I can get the raw material and print my own jewelries in my house. Will you still be These are the questions we are trying to answer. What happens? So let me look for another person's business to use. So you need to be able to look at what are the threats to your business. I'm scrolling up to see if I can get more examples. Hairdressing, I have no example to use there right now. Poultry, feed, I think I've talked about poultry. So table water, for example, Mr. Linus Igwe, I don't know if you are still online. I don't believe Mr. Linus Igwe has heard of something they now refer to as liquid water. That is a water that is not packaged inside plastic bottles, but instead it is packaged inside a seaweed material that you can drink the water and eat the seaweed. So the question is, what happens when that takes full ground in the country? Will you still be able to compete? Will you still be in business at that time? Or would you be pushed out of the business? So these are, because right now you need to look at this from the perspective of, especially that you are buying machines. Because if the seaweed water, what's it called, container becomes predominant, it means the machines you are buying now may no longer be relevant. How do you cope then? What happens to the machines that you have bought? These are the questions we are asking. Let me scroll down. So somebody said, I'm into baking, that's Madam Stella. So since you are applying now, it means you would apply with your name, not a business name, since you are applying now. Is it necessary that we must fill all the spaces of SWOT analysis? Yes. When I say all the spaces, you must fill, okay, not all the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you must fill your strengths, you must fill your weakness, opportunities, and threats. You cannot tell us that my business has no weakness. That can't be true. Or there are no opportunities available anymore in my business sector. That should not be true. Or there is no threat to your business. That can't be true either. So you must fill every segment. We are not saying you must have 5 points each, but you must fill every segment. So I think I've answered that. So what are the threats to your business? You need to know. Is it that, oh, the threat could be, for example, I think somebody said custard. So for the man that is into custard production, I know some use cassava, cattle food use cassava for custard production. I think majority uses maize. And now that there is a ban in maize, last month or early this month, there was a ban in maize from the importation of maize by the federal government. The question is, now we already know that from history, there is going to be a shortage of maize. Is that a threat to your business? Let us know. So these are the questions we are asking. So threat to your business could be from the input supplier, meaning the people you need to buy things from. That could be the issue. So we need to know. We need to know what are the threats to your business. It could even be the laborers. Maybe in the kind of business you are doing, there are very few skilled laborers. And your fear is a bigger company can come and pay them well enough and take them away from you. That could be a threat. Or maybe it could be a government policy in the future that stops or affects the way your business is flowing or working. I hope that makes sense. So you need to look at your business and understand it properly to know what are the threats. The next thing is your product or services. So for some of us, we have products. Like somebody said hairdressing. Hairdressing is a service that you perform on the hair. Though you may also have products involved that you sell, but your core area is first service. So what do you do? Is it a service or a product? So Madam, somebody, Ayantola has said there are opportunities in frozen food in the future or some. Next is your product or service. So what product or service do you sell? Describe it. We need to understand. So somebody said, so let's take examples. Ayantola said poultry. So what do you sell? What exactly do you sell? What exactly do you sell? We want to know. Is it whole chicken? Is it just the laps or turkey? What exactly do you sell? Describe the product. If it is the hairdresser, what service do you really render? Describe it. Then, what is your monthly production capacity? What is your monthly production capacity? So, for example, I know for some of us, like the people into products that takes a while before they are available, maybe fish and all of that. If it takes you 6 months to produce, if it takes you 6 months to produce 6,000 fishes, then we can conclude that it is going to take you approximately 1 month to produce 1,000 fishes. So I'll expect some questions from this area because this is a bit technical and I want us to understand it well. What is your cost price per commodity? What is your cost price per commodity? How much does it cost you to produce? How much does it cost you to produce? So in your production, how much does it cost you? So like now, Madam Ayontola, when you are going to write your own, you sell, so the sales of full chicken, the next line will be full turkey, but that's not yet complete. What is the weight of full chicken? So is your full chicken sales of, I don't know what full chicken, the normal weight is. So maybe sales of 1.5 kilogram of full chicken. Next, sales of 4 kilogram of food, 1 kilogram, 500 gram, then you need to write them line by line. We need to understand. Now, if the food chicken killed it for them, processed it for them, you need to describe all of that because we want to know what your product is. Because if I am looking at this, I should be able to tell that, oh, if I go to Madam Ayantola, I should be able to get 50 defeathered chicken already cleaned up. They've been defeathered and I am buying. Mr. Adamu, I don't know if that's a man. I've not said anything. So I am trying, I don't know everything about everybody's business, but I'll try and see if I can get examples. Child care, kindergarten, nursery, education. So description, what exactly is child care? What exactly do you do with kindergarten? What do you do with the nursery? That's a nursery school. You need to describe each and every one line by line. So monthly production capacity in your own case is how many students do you have in your class? Do you have 50 students in child care, 100 students in kindergarten, 200 in nursery? We need to know. Now, when we now say the cost price, you know how much you charge each parent for their word per term. So let's say, for example, a term, I don't know if a term is 3 months, but as an assumption, if a term is 3 months and you are charging them 150,000 naira per child, it means that approximately they are paying you 50,000 per month to take care of that child. That is your sales price. Your cost price is how much do you use in taking care of those children? Because we need to be able to calculate it to know what it is costing you. And if I'm making any sense, if you have more questions, please ask. For pharmacy, you also need to know what kind of I don't know if there are what's it called, differentiations in pharmacies and all of that. I don't know if there are differentiations in pharmacies, but what I will do, I'm writing it down so that tomorrow I can think of specific examples that I can use to explain that of pharmacy business well. Then Ms. Taiwo, who is into fashion design and textile. When you say fashion design, do you mean what we call tailor? Then textile, are you saying you sell the materials also? If yes, under your fashion test design, don't just write fashion design. Who are you sewing for? If you sew for women, is it adult women, teenagers, or children? If yes, if you sew for the three categories, you need to differentiate the three categories. We need to know the volume of each category. We need to know the volume of each category. If I'm making any sense. So if, for example, you sell, you make, what's the word now? I'll come to direct labor. If, for example, you make 10 clothes, 10, you are sure you are making 10 adult wear in a month, under monthly production, that will be 10. Then what does it cost you to sew those 10 clothes in a month? So this is now for tailors, it might be a bit tricky, but you need to know how to calculate properly. The thread you are using, you should know how many clothes a thread will carry before it's exhausted. If you people use glue or gum to gum anything, you should know how many of that you are using. So if a thread is, for example, 10 naira, and you are going to use a single thread to sew 10 materials, it means that for every material that you are sewing, 1 naira is for thread. If you are using fuel, you should know how much fuel you are using per cloth. If you have staff working for you, you should know, for example, okay, I am paying my staff, again, just an example, I am paying my staff 100,000 naira monthly salary. And in a month, my staff would be able to sew at least 10 clothes. So it means that if I do 100,000 divided by 10, I think that should be 10,000. It means that for every cloth that I am sewing, the salary of my staff built into this is 10,000 naira. If I'm making any sense. So you need to be able to understand every cost. Every cost, your salary has to be built in. Every cost has to be built in. Next, your sales price, you know how much you sell already. Next then is percentage of direct labor. So we already know your cost price. You know, in your cost price, we knew you added material, fuel, other consumables, whatever it is you needed to use, rent. Yes, rent is part of it. Everything is added. You also added salaries and all of that. Now, percentage of direct labor is how much of this whole money that is your cost price, what percentage of that is actually used to pay labor? I don't know if that makes any sense. What percentage of this money, because under cost price, we looked at salaries, we looked at rent, fuel, depending on your business, your input, if it's catfish farmer, your feed, your water, we looked at the cost of all of these things to get to your cost price. So percentage of direct labor is how much of this total money that is cost price, what percentage of that is actually for direct labor? Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? Any questions so far? Then what percentage of material is used? So now the percentage of material are the materials that you used in carrying out. What percentage of that was materials? We want to know. Then what is your margin? What is your profit margin? Any question? If you have a question you feel you don't want to write, you want to speak, please just indicate. Mr. Ibrahim will grant permission. I would suggest that after the class, once you get this copy, take your time to study it properly, because the document is exactly what you are going to be filling online again tomorrow. Sorry, not tomorrow. It's what you are going to be filling in your portal. Next is your competition analysis. So some of us already stated what we do. You should know, in the former area, we've described our products. We already know you understand your product. Now, who is your competitor? What is their product? What is the organization's name? What is their sales price? How much are they selling? You should know. What is the company location of your competitor? Because we want to figure out, is your competitor next to you? So for example, Madam Olufunke that is into pig farm, the person that is your competitor, are both of you neighbors? Because if you are neighbors, it means your value has to be extra hard to ensure that people would prefer you over your competitor. Then what is the price difference? What is the price difference between you and your competitor? Now, in writing this, you use plus and minus. So if your price is better than your competitor's own, let us know. So for example, you are selling at 300, your competitor is selling at 250. That for you is minus 50, because the way we are going to be judging it is you are more expensive than your competitor. But if you are selling at 300, your competitor is selling at 400, it's minus 100 because it's a plus for you as far as we are concerned. So please, you need to, so there is nothing like, I don't know how much my competitor is selling, then, which means you do not understand your business. For those of us that are into service, like the hairdresser, how much are your, so if you have different pricing systems, let's say, I don't know the different hairstyle names. So let's say you do have, I think there's one they call Didi. I hope I'm correct. So if in your Didi, you have written Didi, you've described what Didi is, your competitor has Didi, the organization, the salon name, the sales price. So let's assume you sell they do their own Didi at 1,000 or 2,000 naira per head. Sorry, you do your own at 2,000 naira per head. They are doing their own at 3,000 naira per head. You are in the same location. So the price difference shows the 1,000 naira to show that you have a better margin than them. So we want to know. We want to know. We want to know. Okay. We'll still come to asset list tomorrow. We've talked about management plan before. So financial model, we are going to spend a whole lot of time here tomorrow. I would advise that if you can, please, for tomorrow's class, come with a system or a laptop where you can put in so that we can fill together. No, so Madam Patricia is asking the competitor's price. Please, sir, is the competitor price, is it the price of each product or the estimated price of his business? No, each product. Oh, Mr. Miracle, thank you. Each product. Does that make sense? Each product, because remember, we are not saying the price of your business. That would be hard. You have a product you are selling. There is also a competitor that is selling the same product. So we want to know how much, what is the word now? Big difference. Now, let me go back to this competitor. Let me come back to this competitor. Let me see. I want to see if I can do this, or just a minute. I want to see if I can use a whiteboard to explain this. We'll come back here. Sorry, I want to see if I can use a whiteboard to explain this. Hope confirm you can still see the screen. So that's when I want to see. Please, can we all see the screen? If you can, say yes, or just type yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So I want to explain something about competitor because I feel there is a mix-up. Most of us don't even know who our competitors are. So I want to see, just a minute, I will soon be done. I want to, is it coming out well? Okay, wait, just a minute, sorry. Let me see if I can even use this directly. Okay. Just a minute, sorry. Okay. Stop drawing. I want to see if I can just use something I already had prepared. Let me see if I can use something I already have prepared. Okay. Will this work? Okay, wait, let me do it. Sorry. I know it's taking, sorry, it's taking me time to get to where I'm going. Sorry, I will soon be done. Same customer. So that I want us to actually analyze our competitor properly so that there is no confusion. Okay, let's use this. Okay. All right, so let me use this to explain. Now, what I try drawing, I'm trying to make out or draw out is the types of competitors that exist. There are three types of competition that you face in your business. Most of the time, we mix them up and we run into issues. Now, the types of competitions are what I represented as ABC. When you look at your business, there are businesses that you share the same customers, not the same product. I say that again. There are businesses where you share the same customers, but you do not have the same product. Does that make any sense? You have the same customers, but not the same product. Let me look for examples of people who have posted their business names, or their business, what they are into. So, for example, Ms. Taiwo and Mr. Olaojo, Ms. Taiwo is into making female wears. Mr. Olaojo or Ms. Olaojo sells catfish. It is possible the same customer that is buying catfish from Ms. Taiwo is also going to the same customer that is buying cloth or making her clothes from Ms. Taiwo is also meeting Ms. Olaojo for catfish. So the same customer, not the same product. That is possible. That is a kind of competition that exists. So you need to know when you are discussing your, business, do we have just the same customer but different products? Now, if you have the same customer but different product, you need to know, are our products complementary to each other? Because if your products are complementary, so that you will not be fighting the person you should be friends with. So, for example, you are selling butter, your neighbor is selling bread, And now you are fighting your neighbor. Why? When you know bread and butter should go together. So you realize that you have the same customer because the person that comes to buy bread may most likely buy butter. So it is the same customers but different products. I don't know if that makes sense. On the other hand, you may have a case where you have the same products but different customers. You can have the same products but different customers. Now, this is a scenario where though your products are the same, the usage of the product determines what the customer will go for. I don't know if that makes sense, because under competitors analysis, you need to properly analyze your competitor so that you do not go and take someone that is not a direct competitor and list them as a competitor. I don't know if that makes any sense. So you can have the same products, but different customers. For example, I know somebody quoted somewhere that they are into education. I can't remember who said that. You are into education. Now, your nursery school is in, both of our nursery school are in Jabi, Abuja. But your nursery school, the price you collect is maybe 100,000 naira per term. Meanwhile, the person next to you is charging 5 million naira per term. Both of you have the same product, but your customers are not the same. Why? Based on the value proposition, you have already differentiated your customers. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Is there any confusion? If you have questions, please ask. Then we have a case where you have same customer and same product. That is the one we are most concerned with. The same customers with the same product, which means your differentiation is in your value. You have same customer, which means a customer that can come to you can easily go to another person because your products are the same, and the customer can choose from either of you and still get the same satisfaction. So we are not talking about A and C. We are talking about customers that fall, competitions that falls in B. A is not a direct competition. C is not a direct competition. So for example, I know there was somebody that says, that talked about selling of cars. So let's assume the man is selling Toyota vehicles and all of that, and somebody else comes to open a car dealer shop next to him, whose cars are basically Lamborghini. I don't know how they sell them, but just an example, who sells Lamborghini and all those very exotic cars. You are in the same product market of car sales, but your customers are not the same, because the person will not change his mind from Lamborghini to go and buy one Acura Legend or something. I don't know if that is making sense to us. So we are concerned about competitors that fall in B, that falls in B, not A or C, not A or C. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to us. So let's go back to where we were. So we are going to, yep. So sales and marketing. So tomorrow we are going to still take time again, but we'll look at it briefly today. Sales and marketing. This is in the feeling, but let's go straight to your marketing. If you belong to any trade association, blah, blah, blah. Why will your customers prefer? You know, we've talked about this over and over again. These are the things you are going to be asked on the portal when you are feeling. Why will your customer prefer to buy from you? Why is yours special? So for the person that is into hairdressing, why do customers prefer you? Is it because your salon is finer? Is it because you make the best hair in town? Is it because you give them the best value? Is it because you go to their houses to help them make their hair? Or is it because every time, if they make hair 4 times, the 5th time it is free? Why will customers prefer you? For the man that is into cars sales, is it because when they come to you to do their cars or to buy car from you, their first 3 car servicing is free as long as they buy from you. Why will customers prefer you? Because remember that NISA is super concerned to ensure that when you get the money, you are actually able to make sales so that you can pay back. So they need to know, why are you a preference to your customers? They need to know. 2, how do you intend to advertise your product? How will people know where you are? Especially for those of us that are startup. How will people know where you are? How will people recognize and say, oh, I am going to buy from Madam Patricia? Okay, Madam Patricia is not a startup, she is 5 years in the business. Now, how do you get new customers? Yesterday, remember we talked about the fact that there is a need to get new customer base. So how do you intend to get them? Then, how do you intend to sell your products? Tomorrow we are going to go detailed into this. Then, do public holidays affect your product or service? We need to know. So, for example, as a businessman right now, what was the impact of this COVID-19 when there was lockdown? Was your business still going on? When there is Salah break, Christmas holiday, does it affect your business? We need to know. We need to understand. What is your product cycle? So, for example, the people that are into fish, is it every 6 months? Is it every 3 months? What is the cycle? What is your product cycle? Now, next is, what is your year 1 sales forecast? So, if you get the money, for example, August 1st or September 1st, 2020, how much do you think you would have made in the next 1 year? We are not saying profit. How much revenue would have come from that business? What is the likely price increase in percentage? These are the questions we want to know, or the answers we want to know. How much quantity would you have gotten extra? Now, the next thing is, in your kind of business, is there a payment format that you need us to understand? For example, if somebody does business with us and they buy goods, how long does it take them to pay? How long does it take them to pay back? Do they pay back immediately? Do they pay the money immediately, or do they pay after 1 week, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks? Same thing applies when you buy from your suppliers. How long does it take you to pay them? We need to know. Then finally, how long? So for those of us that buy things in bulk, for example, Madam Patricia and those that run pharmacies, when you buy your things in bulk, how long does it take you to sell that batch? When you have a container load of clothes, how long before that batch of clothes is finished? These are the things we need to know. Those are the things we need to know. So any question? Any question, please? If you have questions, please ask. If you have questions, please ask. So for example, this is the one we'll be using tomorrow to explain. I don't know if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen. If you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see
So
it.
tomorrow we are going to be using this for that's why I said if you can come with your computer tomorrow, so that we are going to be doing your financials. We want to run through your financials. I know some people were saying they've already done theirs. This is the template from NISA. It covers for 10 years. So we are going to be running your financials tomorrow and help you predict where your business would be in 10 years' time. Now, remember, like I said at the beginning, I am not into all kinds of business. So which means how correct this is going to be is totally dependent on how honest you are with us when we are taking this tomorrow. If you tell me, this is my business right now, by next year we are going to be earning 2 million naira, we will use it to help you do your quotes. And by the time they are cross-checking, they are going to cross-check to see, oh, is this really true? So we are going to be using this tomorrow. So you can see, for example, we are going to capture the salaries, the things you're going to be looking at tomorrow. Let me just run through it so that you have an idea. And I will also advise that before tomorrow, we will try to send this out today so that before tomorrow, you take time to read through so that tomorrow is not the first time you're seeing it. You will look at your growth rate. For those of us that are start up, we will look at how much you actually need to start. We will look at your headcount analysis, number of employees. Do you have a sales department, a marketing department, IT department? Again, if you don't have this department, it is fine. Your back office staff, that is, do you have legal, finance, HR, operating costs? We are going to take time to look at your operating costs step by step. We are going to try to set your revenue. We want to know how much you are likely to make. Then we are going to look at it because we know for people, for example, those in agriculture will be joining us. So we are going to look at it based on month-by-month basis to see how much are you going to be making per month, from month to month and all of that. We will look at your working capital, your startup financing. We are even going to help you look at if there is a need for you to collect more loan in the future. We want to check from here, your debt financing, your schedule, and all of that. We'll do all of that tomorrow. So please, if you have questions, let me check the chat. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Ibrahim would answer for the area of the video being available. So Madam Stella is asking, how do we fill this business plan form? So between now and tomorrow, you are going to get this.